sing. We can just.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for looking and listening to Bold Voices. I mean, this is a equal opportunity space for everyone and all the shenanigans that may take place today. So I'm happy to be here with some of my peeps, some of my favorite peeps. We have one peep missing because she's under the weather, but hey, Lizette, we hope you feel better. So I'm going to go ahead and I always seem to start with Penny because she's in this corner, but I'm going to start with C today. So, C, you have the mic. Introduce yourself.
Hello. Well, my name is C, better known as ItsBossCie. And I'm so sorry. All of a sudden it went blank. And I'm an online reseller,
She forgot who
serial
she was.
entrepreneur. And I have been under the weather, so that's where the brain fog is coming from. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure, sure. I'm always happy to have you here. And hey, Daneen. Oh, well, as soon as she comes back, she's going to tell us all about who she is and what she does. Now we can't hear you.
How's this?
There you go.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. I'm Daneen. I am also known as Frugal Fashionista _ on Instagram and Fashionista21 on Poshmark. I basically am not just a reseller, but I also love to inspire people, mentor people, and help people throughout their journey in life, whether it's making money, figuring out, side hustles, or just helping them get through life in general.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And Penny,
It's my turn.
it's your turn.
My name's Penny Carter. I am an online reseller, which is ThePoshPennyPDX. And I'm also a wedding officiant, and I'm an author, and I'm retired from healthcare, and you name it. There we go. And I'm a cat mom.
Oh, love it. I love it. And Terry.
Okay, why did I not know Penny was retired from healthcare? Totally unrelated.
Why did I not know that either? Just got the memo.
But anyway, that's wonderful. I've been reselling for, I don't know, gosh, it's been a while now, probably close to 10 years. But I am a serial entrepreneur, wear other hats as well. And thank you for letting me join on this conversation.
Sure, I love having you here. Well, I never really introduced myself. So, hey, I'm Rhonda, PinkDivaStudio. I'm a life coach. I'm also a plus size reseller, author, podcaster, the list goes on. But what my favorite thing to do is gather together my peeps and have just a regular old conversation. So we're going to get started with just reselling as a whole. I think the thing that sparks just grinds my gears is when people say that us resellers, are stealing from others. I think that absolutely makes no sense to me. The math is not mathing because there are, in C's words, 5,428, probably thousands of thrift stores, Goodwill, Salvation Armies, and the like, all spread across, the planet. I, for one, always am irritated when people assume that because we thrift, that we are taking something away from those who need it. When one of those organizations I know is a for profit. So I'm not, again, the math is not mathing. I'd like to see I'd like to hear your thoughts on those. I mean,
I'll start.
Don't y'all all speak at one time?
Nope, I will start because, I read an interesting article not that long ago. And I've always known this, but I never put it together. The bins, for those of you guys, if you're a reseller, you know what the bins are. Mm-hmm. But if you aren't, it's where Goodwill's items that are not selling quick enough in the stores end up so that we can bulk buy them. If we were doing all of this, stealing from people in need, there would be no reason to have a biz. They wouldn't exist. The items go there because they can't sell them in the store. So what are we taking? And it is resellers that have boosted the economy, if you want to say, in Goodwill alone, because that's where a lot of us source from, So that myth that we're stealing from people in need, they're better people, there are people that need it more than us. All we're doing is turning around and, sticking the prices up and selling it. To be honest with you, Goodwill needs to be so thankful to us, because again, it's because of us that they keep an influx of income coming in.
Yes, Daneen. That cute little hand.
Yeah. Well, oh, I have my hand up. Okay, I didn't realize. What about the reseller in need? So I just want to say, especially after what's happened with the economy and with COVID and people losing their jobs, having to work from home, having to supplement incomes because the price of everything is so expensive. I live on Long Island. Gas alone is almost $5 a gallon. It's ridiculous. I've traveled all across the United States, and everything everywhere is expensive. Doesn't matter where you live, whether it's milk or bread or whatever it is that you're looking for. So people are looking to supplement their incomes. So they're looking to reselling. So they're going into all these stores and they're learning how to supplement the income for their family. Maybe they have kids, maybe they're ill and they can't leave the house. And this is a great way for them to support themselves as well. So, I know from my own experience, I've been reselling for over 20 years, the past 11 on Poshmark. And most of the people that I mentor and teach how to resell properly so that they can make the most money for their item are people that are getting through college, people that can't leave the house for whatever reason, single moms, newly divorced parents. What about the resellers? That's what I say. So we're not taking from anyone. In fact, we're helping the economy, as C was saying. We're helping these places stay in business, and we're helping ourselves. Absolutely. In that regard. The reseller is your average person.
This is true. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, I think that when people say those things about, we're taking away from people, I think they may be looking at people that are making, $100,000 and more off of doing that and assume that everybody makes that. And that's just not true. Boy, it'd be nice if I could, but everybody doesn't make it. And you're absolutely right. We're trying to supplement our income. I get Social Security and a little bit. I'm trying to supplement that, with reselling. And it's something that thrifting is something I'd love to do since I was a little girl. And so it just came natural to me to do it. But yeah, it's disheartening when you hear that because they don't know and they don't understand. And the thing is if we're taking away from other people, there are nonprofits that I shop at as well. That money goes in for helping other people. So does some of the clothing and things like that. So we are helping. Goodwill just happens to be one of them. That is a for-profit, but there are a lot of things out there. I also do a lot of shopping at Dress for Success, Oregon, and they will have quarterly sales there, stuff that hasn't been given away to people who have come in to get clothing for job interviews and things like that. They will have a sale quarterly to get rid of things. And it's really good for resellers because it's really inexpensive. But they're there specifically to help women and interview skills and get them set up and things like that. So we contribute by giving money back to that program when we're out there buying. So anyway, I just wanted throw that in and just say I really agree with what you're saying there.
And then I wanted to say too that six figures is really not what it was at one time. Going back to what not what Penny was saying, but what Daneen was talking about earlier, for the cost of living, six figures is really not anything like it used to be. Everything has gone up dramatically. So six figures is just not on point. And then 60% of households don't even have $1,000 put away for emergencies. That's 60% of the United States households. And of that 60%, there are people that are middle income that are probably making, definitely six figures and up. But that's just the way it is, because some of them are, living paycheck to paycheck regardless. And that can happen with six figures just as easily as any other. So the reality is people are doing this as a business to supplement income and bring more income in. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think you all made some great points, and I have to agree. But that was something that came to mind that it just irritates me when I see that. And more so because I think of all the landfills and where they take all of these clothes when they go to dispose of them in other countries. And, I just think it's crazy that, I don't know how that myth got started, but I wish it would just go away. But moving on to platforms, most of us sell on Poshmark, which, Poshmark has always been Bay for me. Here lately, though, Bay has been in the corner because, Bay's not been acting accordingly. But
nobody puts Bay in the corner.
I know, right? But I'm just curious and want to know how you all are feeling about the new refund policy that Poshmark came up with. I'm kind of like about it because I feel like it's gonna allow people to just I want a refund just because I want one. So that's where I'm at with that. But you guys go ahead.
Oh, I'll start. I will start
okay.
this conversation. Okay.
If you're rocking,
yes,
I'm rolling.
I am not happy about that. Poshmark needs to assume responsibility for this. Is why we use Poshmark. This is why it's one of the reasons why I stayed with Poshmark, been so loyal to them for so many years. And I'm starting to branch out more and more because I began on eBay. And I've sold on many other platforms, but that was one thing I liked about Poshmark, that they handled that aspect of it. I don't like it. However, there are things that as a seller we can do for ourselves. If we know that the product we sent out was good, we know that the product, there was nothing wrong with it, no holes, rips, or stains, and somebody is just trying to get over on us because they want a refund, assume that now as a percentage of part of our business, that's going to happen. The same with returns, and block that person from ever shopping from our great sales ever again, and then move on until we get a really good clientele base, people that are return customers that we know won't do that to us. So.
And the other thing is that if I'm going to be handing out a refund, why again am I paying this fee?
Thank you.
I'm just curious. What, see? You're looking like you have something to say.
I'm going to go last.
Oh, you want to go last? Okay, well.
That I have a totally different perspective.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I would love to hear it.
I'm loving this. I'm loving to hear it. Penny, Terry. Terry, you have your hand up.
Huh?
Your hand is up.
Oh, I am so sorry if I do. Go ahead, see. I want to hear what you got to say. I can come.
She's like, no, thank you.
No, when I first saw it, my immediate thought was, the complaints are coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, I started reselling. I'm coming up on my 20th year, and I started with eBay. So I've already been through this with eBay. However, again, and I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but if you really think about it, you'll get it. A return policy is only you ensuring your buyer that what I'm selling you is what you're going to get. So it's to make them comfortable clicking that button. Now, in all the years, so I said it's almost 20 years, in my entire reselling career, I have not had 20 returns. I probably haven't had 15 returns. But here's how I do it. I over describe what I'm selling. All I do is make sure that whatever this, I think like a buyer, whatever that buyer is looking for in that particular item, I try to cover it in my description. So number one, they don't have to ask me a question. If you don't have questions, you're going to be more apt to click that buy button. Now, I have been on the side where I've had somebody, you know, not a lot, but I've had people try to get over. Or if somebody wants to, I don't have a problem taking returns because I can resell it. And I think that's another thing. Unpopular opinion, I know. Don't come for me. Some of them resellers, they're scared. They're scared that they're never going to sell another thing in their life. And there's no reason to be afraid. I look at returns one way. Do I want the item back? Yes or no? That's it. If I want it back, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to give you a partial refund, but you can send it back to me for a full refund. Thank you very much. There's nothing else to discuss. Send it back to me. And then I'm going to resell it. But if not, if it's something that has been hanging around and I sold it, you know, for next to nothing, here you go. You know what? You keep it. I don't need to give you a partial. You keep it. And if you can't use it, donate it, gift it, whatever. Thank you so much for shopping with me. They're going to come back to you if they were genuine. You know, if there's somebody that's trying to get over, you should be able to assess that. And don't take it personal. When somebody opens a claim against you, I'm confident in everything that I have ever sold. You know, I had a lady do a claim on a pair of Manolo Blahniks. I didn't dispute her. I just said, can you please send me a picture of the damage and the box that it came in? Never got it. And Poshmark came in my favor. So, you know, if I sent those Manolos out, they come back to me in good standing, I'm going to turn around and sell them again. You know, but people don't like, you know, again, people don't like the word returns. The resellers, they don't want that stuff to come back in their house. Who does? Do you honestly think that Walmart and Amazon want returns? No, they offer, you know, great return policies because they want you to come in there and just do this with your credit card. That's all they want. They want you to go here, take this, charge me, give me that. Okay, that's what they want. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. And I don't think I've ever done on eBay. I never did partials. You're either gonna take the whole thing, and if you don't like it, send it. If it was my mistake, fine, keep it. Send it back to me. If not, keep it. I'm not doing a partial. There's nothing partial. I didn't sell it to you partially. You know, so you give it back to me, then I can turn around and resell it. Or again, if it's something I don't want, go ahead and keep it. You're going to write it off, and it's a win-win for me. You know, I don't think it's worth getting. People are, you know, they're going to be upset, and I just don't feel that that's worth it. You know, if you're concerned about that, then that means you're already doing returns. You're not, then you don't need to be worried about it. Because people do returns because they're not satisfied with something with the item. The ones that are trying to do it to get over, there's no policy out here in the world that's going to stop people from trying that. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. It's up to you to stop it. So that's my take on it, and I'm done speaking.
All right, Terry, I see your hand up.
I'll just say, I'm sorry if I still have my hand up. I am going to take it down, though. I didn't know I still had it up. Well, I don't know what it's doing. It's
Anyway.
anyway.
It's okay.
But what I was gonna say is, I pretty much don't care one way or the other, because I am on eBay, and I've got the 30-day returns. It's in my policy that I do them, but I haven't had to return anything. And in regards to Poshmark, what I find is sometimes we put cases on you. The ones that put cases on you, the ones that just want to get off anyway. Because the cases I've had have been silly ones, but I don't even worry about them.
There you
I
go.
just deal with them and keep it going. My only question is, and I'm about to have a coffee fit, so I'm gonna go to someone else. Bear with me.
Go ahead, Penny.
Actually, I have a whole different thing that I want to go down. So until we're done with this, I'll wait. How's that?
Okay, I'll add then. I also want to say that we pay more in fees to Poshmark than we do on eBay. That's something else. Also, the fact of a partial return, I don't have a problem doing a return. I have a problem doing a partial return if it's not warranted. It depends on case by case. It really does. So I have a problem if someone's trying to get over on me for an item that's either expensive, that they wore and they just want to return and they're using some BS excuse. I do have a problem with it. Also, the biggest difference between returns, partial returns on eBay versus partial returns on Poshmark is Poshmark used to give the customer, pay the customer. It didn't come out of your money. So now we're taking the onus of that, and it's having to come out of our money. Whereas before, Poshmark said, okay, you can keep the full amount. We gave a partial refund to the customer and they get to keep the item, 1, 2, 3. So that is actually a big change in Poshmark, because they're the ones that handled the money aspect of it. Whereas eBay was always like that. So this is a big change. And that's why I feel a lot of people are complaining they can't afford to do that.
Can I ask a question, Daneen, on that?
Sure. Yeah,
So
sure.
Poshmark, okay, when someone requests a return, and they're not trying to get over, when you went, like, I've returned something because I never forget, it was a pair of shoes that weren't leather and I needed them to be leather, right? So Poshmark accepted my return, and I sent the shoes back to the lady, but they would still keep her money. I'm missing how we know that all the return money is coming out from us, because I've done returns on them. No, yeah, then the money that they gave back has been taken from me. I haven't had Poshmark pay and me get my item back.
Yeah. So what happens in a lot of different cases, it really depends on case by case. If Poshmark tries to negotiate with the buyer first, if the buyer will accept a partial refund on what they're trying to return, and if the buyer accepts that, they release the earnings in full to the seller and gives the buyer credit or money or whatever it is back into their account, and they get to keep the item. So as a buyer and a seller, I've had that happen.
So they're giving us credits back then, not cash.
I don't, honestly, as far as the buyer goes, I don't remember, because it hasn't happened in a while.
The seller.
To the seller? No, the seller gets paid in full. The buyer gets, if they want to return something and Poshmark tries to negotiate with them, they're saying, we want to, instead of you returning it, and I'm thinking for shipping purposes, that's what my mind frame is thinking. We'll give you X amount of dollars, whether it's in credit or cash, I don't remember.
Okay.
And you get to keep the item.
Okay.
As the buyer. As the seller, if the buyer agrees to that, the seller gets all the funds. So
Okay.
that happens more frequently than you think, but it is a case by case.
Yeah, I thought
And
that was
that's
how they
where the
always been.
partial refund comes in, because that happens a lot and that won't be happening anymore.
Yeah, what I'm wondering is when I saw it, I looked at it as Poshmark is trying to move kind of more so like eBay. And so when I was thinking about that, I was thinking that even our fees may change. Like our fees may end up not being 20%. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, because they are the only platform right now that charges 20%.
eBay's
So
not far behind though with their 18.
say that again.
I said eBay isn't far behind.
Yeah, eBay is not far behind. That is no
Yeah,
joke.
because I think they're 18.
They're not far behind. That's true. Because at one time I thought they were 15, but I think you're right. See, I
They
think
were, but there's certain categories in this popular categories that they're up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's what I was curious about with Poshmark change their fee structure because of all the competition, but maybe not. It's interesting either way. Y'all both have
Well,
great
we'll
points.
see. We'll see how it rolls out. And I think the fourth quarter is a good testing ground, so to speak. Because that's when I think most of the returns, well, not fourth quarter, January. That's when the returns come, because I know people specifically, this is on another platform, that they will not sell until after that extended return policy is done, because they're not playing like that.
I mean, I do agree with, I agree with you 100% though. That is part of business.
Oh,
And
is,
as
yeah.
things change, whether it's lives or whether it's, who knows if Poshmark will change their shipping policies in the future to be more like eBay. That's what I'm foreseeing coming in the future. We got to roll with it. Or whether we're the ones that are authenticating things, where we would report things, they would send things to us to authenticate or not.
Right.
It's just, you got to roll with it. That's all.
Well, I hope they can keep that contract going. But I don't know how
Yeah, with
they
the
have.
shipping.
Me too. I hope they keep that.
Yeah,
That's the one good thing I
never
love
bothered
about
me.
them.
I'm hoping
That's
they keep
never
it going.
bothered me. But
that's the one thing I love about them is the shipping, because I think that they do have the best shipping going. So I mean, if we can't say anything else, we give them their props for that.
Yeah.
So what Daneen mentioned in fourth quarter, I'm just working on trying to get it together for fourth quarter, because I don't know how you all feel, but I feel like, that is the highlight of the year. Almost is fourth quarter, because we all want to, get those numbers in, and we, those of us who care about numbers. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm not gonna even lie. Sometimes I care, sometimes I don't. I just try to exceed what I did the last year. And if that happens, that's fantabulous. And if it doesn't, then it's fantabulous, because I still made money either way. So I'm just preparing my closet for that, just trying to get in some new merchandise, get some products out that I've been working on for a while. So that's how I'm preparing. So what are you guys doing for fourth quarter? Y'all know I don't care who starts.
Well, fourth quarter has never been my jam. It's never been my jam. I've never gotten really an increase in sales because of fourth quarter. My jam is after fourth quarter, when them gift card, I want that gift card money.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for.
I love a good old gift card, honey, especially.
Everybody's shopping. The babies are shopping. The pets are shopping. Everybody's shopping. Everybody got a gift card for Christmas. That's it. So spend it with me.
That's why I ask for gift cards for Christmas, because I can always shop after Christmas.
When the sales come out or whatnot, but that's when, to me, that's when my sales increase. Is after the holidays. Yeah.
I can see that. And now I'm excited simply because I have, it'll be 4 years next month that I've been reselling. So, I guess I'm the baby of the bunch when it comes to that. But I have the same client that comes and shops with me every holiday, and she
Oh, that's
buys
good.
she this let me tell you, she'll buy a bundle here, she'll wait again, she'll buy another bundle, and then she'll wait and she'll buy the last bundle. So I'm just like, girl, I don't need anybody but her. Let me just make sure I got everything she's looking for in my closet, because that's how she shops with me, and she's been doing that since year one. And I mean, I'm expecting her to come, a little, probably around the first of, the end of October. That's when she normally starts. So I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to her. I'm like, girl, let me get that stuff ready for you because I know you're coming. So I
No,
mean, I don't know. I just like that time. Maybe it's just because I like the holidays that I like the fourth quarter. Maybe that's what it is too, because it's always a fun time and so much is going on and all that. But do you see an increase? Like C says she does until afterwards, but do you see an increase during that time?
I do. I always see an increase. Pretty much as soon as August comes in. Sometimes people are buying coats even in July.
Hmm.
We'll start a little earlier, but I didn't have that this year. Last year I had that a great deal. People were
Yeah, I didn't
buying
have
coats.
that this year either.
Yeah, but I didn't have that this year. And it might be too. I don't think I was pushing coats. And what I mean by not pushing, I didn't relist them. So I got to relist my coats. That might have been why no one did buy any of my coats that I do have. Um, what else was I going to say? I did want to ask this question if it's okay, Rhonda.
Sure.
So how are y'all sales with Poshmark since the live shows? Anybody that wants to
I'm
answer?
I'm, I'm just gonna take this one off the top. It tanked. I
No,
mean, like
okay.
it took a big swan dive,
Yeah.
and it has not come up for water for air yet. But and I say this all the time, but thank goodness for my Shopify, because if my Shopify hadn't started gaining the traction that it's having, I think I would have just been sleeping with the fishes. I mean, I'm just saying. It's just it has not really. And what I noticed about that though is that I have more notifications, of course, of live sales. And in between there, I may have, even though I share, and to share the parties or share this or that, I list, but I don't have a whole lot of the likes that I used to, or the sales, or turning things into sales, because my favorite thing is definitely sending offers to likers, which is how I usually made my sales.
Me too.
So I
Yeah.
will say that with the help, I did have the help of Posh at the time, and I'm actually getting ready to go back to them. But I just found that I don't get that. It doesn't have the same zhuzh as it used to. And maybe that's just me, but that's just how I see it.
No, I get that too. And I just don't have the energy to do the sales and things like that. And nor do I want to sell something for $5 and package it up and do that. That's not worth it to me either. Yeah, I mean, if people want garage sale prices, then they should go out to a garage sale because that's how we get our stuff. And then, it just seems like a um oh, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but to sell it for something that you paid for it, it's not worth it for me for the time. But people have learned they can go to a lot of those sales and get things for super cheap. Now, other people have been doing it for a while, and so they're able to command higher prices and that type of thing too, and that's great. I do not have the patience to wait that out to get a following to do that. Nor do I want to. It's a lot of energy. I can't,
Excuse me.
I just, it's not something I want to do. And I really, I go like this to the people who are doing it because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
it is a lot
Yeah.
of
But
work. It is a
yeah,
lot of
but
work.
my
And for
sales have
me,
definitely dropped and it's hard to, try to get them back. I wanted to ask you really quickly, Rhonda, though, or who all, do you all have Shopify um accounts? Just Rhonda?
I'm trying to get mine attached to my Facebook and stuff and Instagram, and then I will have mine. I've been having snags with my Facebook because I had another account. It's a long story, but I'm trying to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I'm grateful to my Shopify because again, I'm thankful that the traction is there because I've been making the sales and that has been a lifesaver. But when I think about the live shows on Poshmark, I actually am kind of sad about it simply because it does take a lot you put a lot of work into getting prepared for those shows. For me, my knee is, the way my knee is set up, I can't be doing all that standing and hopping and doing it all. I have to get my granddaughter to come and help me out with the shows. But it just got to be so not worth it for me. Now, sometimes I look at it from a different perspective is like, if I have a ton of free items or free merchandise that I've received, I don't have anything into it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I want to give it away either, because I still have to, I still have to use good old Poshmark's great shipping to ship that out. But, again, do I really want do I want to do that? And I just don't feel like I want to do that. And it's just really gotten, I don't know, it's just gotten really crowded. It's really monotonous and hectic, even on the feed. Sometimes I even hate to go to the feed, but it's just a lot. It really is. And I know that Daneen was doing her handbags, and wow, I mean, I've been to a few of her shows and it was just crazy. And I was just like, oh my God, bless her heart. Because I know I've been on there I was on there long enough with her one night that I just took over moderating for her. And I knew that she was getting tired, but the people were just coming at her, coming at her, coming at her. It just got to be crazy. But I was happy for her because she was making them sales up. I was happy for her for that. But it's the time that it takes to go into that. And if you have the time and the energy to do it, then I'm happy for you. But I do think that maybe, I don't know, I just think it did interfere with people buying outright. And I just can't get past that feeling.
I do know that if you have handbags, those are the shows that always do well. Because every time I actually look at the shows that are doing well, I look at the numbers, and anybody that does handbags, they always have really high numbers. Like a lot of people in their show when they have handbags. And when I say handbags, I'm talking about designer ones. And, but I do agree with one thing. If you're getting stuff free and you have no money involved, as long as you don't mind packing it up later, I mean, it might be worth it for you. Get $3 per item.
$2.05 if you're selling it for $5.
It's $100. $3 times 100 items is $300. It depends on your mindset, and if you don't mind in that time, packing it and stuff. And of course, you free shipping supplies. I do mean free shipping supplies.
Oh, absolutely, free shipping supplies. I can't be wasting my cute little poly mailers.
Immediately no.
Immediately no.
I
cannot. But I think I'm all for it, and I support whoever wants to do it. I talk to people when they ask me about the shows. I said, well, they just turned out not to be the best thing for me, but definitely give it a shot. Definitely give it a shot. I mean, our good friend Lizette has had 2 shows and she absolutely loves it and enjoys doing it. And I'm happy for her. But I think everyone should give it a try at least once. It's just not meant for,
I like that they have the option.
Yes.
I'm all about options.
I think it's made for everybody.
Yeah. I personally like I do better with my live shows on Whatnot. It just is totally different from me. And it's a lower fee. Like I said, you're giving away something for $5. I don't know how they do it on $3, but $5 is $2.05 on Poshmark. And then you got to turn around and ship it. I know. I'm not doing that.
No, it's got to be $6 and up.
You know, eight. Forget six. It needs to be eight. You know,
Well,
but unless you're selling something that can just
at least go
drop
5,
into the bag.
and that's free.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I said if the item's free, I don't mind selling it for $6 and get
Right.
3. This is all about the numbers. It's about selling as many as possible if the items are free.
Right.
And if it's on the items, they'd be free. And I'm not paying anything for shipping. I'm using all free stuff for shipping. That means I'm not bought any tape because it's the type of boxes that's going to seal by themselves. You know. But I noticed that if I share more, it's helped me with the sales. I was just wondering, was that the case for some other people? I've just ended up having to share more as it.
Yeah, I think that I have found that to be true. Again, like I said, once I get my my virtual assistant back, then we'll see how it goes, because I definitely was into more. I definitely made more sales that way. I definitely, reached the audiences that I wanted to reach more so than when I do it manually, because I do a lot of target sharing. So, that also helps me to let the VA do what it's doing, and then I can do what I'm doing over here. And the combination seemed to work better. So I'm excited to get back to that, and maybe, right just in time for fourth quarter, here we go.
Hey, Daneen and C, aren't y'all doing free sharing? I mean, not you, but don't y'all have an option to get free sharing? Do y'all have VAs to do free sharing?
I use Flipped, and it's 100% free. And I actually use it everything is pushed to Chrome. But what I do is I have 2 different Chrome IDs. So I'm sharing around the clock. My sales I know will increase because I have to, I'm listing more, because I think I've got 76 items. So that's nothing. But I get I'm having a time. Okay. I get my sales most of the time by doing on the Poshmark app. I go into the shopper side and I send
offers.
Thank you. I send offers that way, and I don't have to give a shipping discount. I really like that. I can't remember if they do have auto send offers on Flipped, but a couple of times I've messed up and I got less money than what I was expecting. And I know that was me, but yeah, as soon as I see somebody, and I target it as well. I do Sunday night, because folks are looking to do something Monday morning when they sitting at work acting like they're working. And then I do Friday, I do Thursday, because people don't have a problem using their credit card on Thursday because they know they're getting paid on Friday. We can just put it back on there. So that's the days, but I have it running almost 24 hours a day on the both IDs, so it's constantly sharing, and I do think the sharing, like I do share other people's stuff, but I honestly, the emphasis needs to be on sharing your closet, period. They can talk all that, share it to other people. I'm sharing mine.
Yeah, I do share my closet. When I definitely, when I was using the VA, I share my closet, around. I hit all the time zones. Let's just say that, hit all the time zones. I definitely share it to parties. I definitely share after the parties. I go back in and share, so many. And, like I say, I think that definitely helped. And I still share, other people, my small, group, people that I have. But I just let the VA do all the sharing. I set it and forget it. And I'm done with it. And I love that aspect of it, because again, it shares my closet. I hit all the time zones.
It helps.
And it does help. And I've seen, and I know that. So that's why I'm kind of excited to get it back, because let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Yep.
Well, I know we've talked about fourth quarter and we've talked about enough about um, sharing is caring and all of these things. But what I want to bring up is how do we stay motivated? Because with Poshmark, or for me, I'm speaking for me, but when it's been kind of like the Sahara, and and it really just kind of started getting me down and just really bugging me. But again, I go back to the fact that thank goodness that I'm grateful for my Shopify, because it has turned it out to be a lifesaver for me. And it did keep up my motivation, because at one point I was just like, I'm just done with clothes, period. I'm just done. I'm just over it. I'm just not going to sell them anymore. And then I get all this free inventory, and I'm just like, well, here we are again. But how do you stay motivated? And it's always good to have people to talk to, that you can just bounce these ideas and feelings off of, especially if you're in that same profession, you may be feeling the same way as someone else. So it's always good to have people to talk to, which helps me a lot. And the means that I get, also help, because, we're sending them back and forth all the time. But how do you stay motivated? And how would you tell someone else to stay motivated?
Okay. I stay motivated by my what is it we always say? You got to get yourself a tribe. You got to get your tribe. Days that I don't because I have a lot of pain issues. So days, and I really have to push myself, but days that I you know, just don't want to whatever, I usually get on with either Rhonda or Terry, and I have my little pep talk, and then I go ahead on and list my 2 items. But no, I try to, always try to set up myself for at least 5 items a day, because I do know for a fact listing an item, fresh items every single day. I know you can do the delist and whatever, but fresh items every day, even if it's 1 item. But if you're putting fresh items, I try to do 5, you're going to start getting traction with the good old Googler. Okay, because that's who you have to impress. And I find when I do that, that's when I get the most engagement in my closet. So what works for me and my issues is I'll take like for example, I'm working on all these bags I told you. I'll take all of my pictures and I'll do my listings on, I can easily list easier on the computer than I can on the app. But I'll throw all the listings on the computer. I have a fake photo, like his photo will say bag, and then I throw them in draft. And then I'm in the bed. Me and my issues are in the bed because all I'm doing now is adding pictures. I can lay there and add pictures all night, and I'll do a whole batch of them, try to have like 20, 30, and then through the week, I'll do 5 this day, 5 the next day, 5 the day after that, you know, and that's what I'm doing, because I can't list the way that I used to list anymore. I just can't do it because my body just will not cooperate. My brain is for it. My body, it's not trying to do all that. So, you try you just have to find what works for you. But you definitely, I wouldn't be anything without this you group of ladies. You gotta find your tribe, because when you check in with each other, it's like our happy hour at 5 or whatever, because that's your person. That's your, like, we're in the office, we're at the water cooler. That's what this is. Whenever I have ideas, y'all know I'm good for ideas. A lot of times they might not, roll out, and when do I get most of my ideas? Late at night. I can roll out some, so that's what I do. I run my ideas. What do y'all think? Does this make sense? Is that the other?
Let's have a live ideas happy hour. How about we do that? That would be
Oh,
fun.
That would be
that would be
great.
Wouldn't
fantabulous.
that be fun?
Yeah, I'm
That
game.
would be great.
I'm here for
Yeah.
that, Penny.
Yeah.
The longer it goes, the better the ideas get,
Because
you know?
my mind is always twirling.
Well,
Always.
that's so true. That's so true. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I just was, curious how, everybody just stays motivated. I mean, I think sometimes it gets really hard too, because again, sometimes reselling is a lonely business. But I agree, you just have to have your people to talk to. And then, of course, you got to pump your own self up. So I do a lot of that. Pump my own
Yeah.
self up, look in the mirror, say, girl, you got this, honey. I don't know how, but you're going to work it out some kind of way. So I was just curious how everyone stays motivated, and maybe the people who are going to be looking and listening to us might could use those ideas and those tips and techniques that you all have.
And another one, oh, I'm sorry, music.
Let's see.
Music motivates me. I'm gonna give y'all a real funny. Years ago, I used to do telemarketing, not the ones, not the ones you don't like, but it was actual. I forget what we called it, but I just says telemarketing. Every day when I would come to work, and it was virtual, I would decide who I was going to be, and I would imagine who I was talking to. And it would be, Brad Pitt, Beyonce before she, whoever was big. And whatever the music, I always had certain songs, I'm not going to name them here, that would get me pumped. Right?
Yes.
And then
Well,
you go in and you do it, and
absolutely.
that's
And
what
I
you
agree
have to
with you
do
because, a
there.
good old Beyonce song will just take me on,
Listen,
honey. It'll take
you
me
know,
throughout the day.
So music is always now, and it's funny though, because a lot of times I can't work with music behind me because it doesn't keep my focus, because I suffer from the squirrel syndrome too. You'd be like, oh, oh yeah. Next thing you know, you done had a 20-minute dance session and you still looking at the same one thing. You know, but to get it going, yeah, you play some music beforehand and then come to work, and you're got the little motivation going to get it done.
Exactly. What were you going to say, Terry?
Oh, I was just going to say that, motivation really doesn't last. So it's about just doing what's best for your business, kind of like doing what's best for your body, doing what's best for your mind. The motivation never lasts, but just do what's best. And I will say this: do surround yourself with the right type of people, though. Surround yourself with people that are doing really well. Give yourself those opportunities, because they'll inspire you. Surprisingly, they will. I don't know if I blanked out or not. I didn't realize my phone's battery is about low. That's crazy, right? But anyway, they'll inspire you. Like the other day, one of these girls that I actually met like a while back. She's in Washington. Her name's Amanda. She's thrifty 806 or 506 or something. But anyway, she's a really cool girl. Saw her at the last Posh Fest too. And one of the things that I always remember about her is she gets a lot of free stuff. Now, granted, there's times that she goes to estate sales and she may buy stuff, but she goes like the last day and she'll just clear it out. You know what I mean? So she won't go like the first day of the estate sale. She'll go like the last day when she knows they're just trying to get rid of the stuff anyway. So like make a deal and take it all out. So anyway, her cost of goods are really low. And saw her not too long ago on YouTube, and she was just really broke it down simple, because how we're always talking about AI and we're always using it. And it's true. I'll be honest, I use the share option on Poshmark, but I'm not down anybody that uses Posh VA or anything. It's just that's what I do. And it's just my form of holding myself accountable. But what I like to do is I like to up whatever I've done from the other day. But the other thing is she doesn't either. And she makes like a great deal of money. She's definitely making high six figures from reselling. And it was so funny because she doesn't even have an app where she like cross lists, and she's like on all the sites, including Shopify. But she like posts sales all the time. She sells a lot of stuff on eBay, especially, and then Poshmark. So the only thing I remember, I took that conversation, the last one that I heard, she was on a live, and I was like, I say, you know what, it's really more simple than we make it. I think sometimes we make things a lot more complicated than it really is. So now I'm trying to simplify things, and I'm like, it's all about the habits. And I agree with you, Steve, even if you just listen one thing a day, if that's what you can do. But it's all about the habits and, you know, getting involved into the habits, making things a habit. Then it's not any motivation needed because you're not motivated to brush your teeth, but obviously it's a habit for us. We're gonna brush our teeth.
Right,
Hey, you know what I mean,
right.
it's those things. Maybe that's a crazy example, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. So I focus on the habit of things now. And in business, I think that's important that you have to focus on the habit and being self-disciplined because you won't be motivated all the time. And then make sure that you surround yourself with people that are, you know, they're achieving, they're doing well. You know, and that's going to help you to grow and do well as well. And
I
that's
love
all.
that. I love that habit. I think
Mhm.
that, I think
That's
that
a good point.
I think that that really
Mhm.
is true because, when I first started, I mean, I think I was just all over the place. I really didn't have any structure, so to
We
speak.
all were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I had any structure, so to speak. I was just like, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm just gonna do it. And time moved on, time moved on. I think that it happened actually when I moved here, is that I was still kind of all over the place. And then one day I was like, I've just got to have a routine for myself. And so I instilled that routine of a 9 to 5. And I did 9 to 5. I was doing it 7 days a week, 7 days a week. Till I was like, oh my God, I need time off. And I stopped, um, you know, Saturdays and Sundays are my days. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to, nothing that has to do with a business. Which I say that, but behind the scenes, I may be answering a question or preparing for the next week or something like that, but not anything that's going to take up a lot of time. But that 9 to 5, Monday through Thursday for sure. And on Fridays, I have coaching clients. So I'm finished with them probably about 3:30. So, I'm done for the day, when it's 5 o'clock somewhere then. So I think that having a routine for me was definitely helpful. And I kind of got off track of it for a little bit, but I've definitely gone back to it because I think that that is the way that I get things accomplished, is just having that structure and having that routine of 9 to 5, 9 to 5. And sometimes it may go over depending on what, if it's a project that I'm working on. But I think that that's really good in habits, forming that habit. Okay, today I'm going to list at least one thing, but there may be a different day that I list 5 things. So I think that habit, routine, habit are all just, great, and they work for me. Everything's not for everybody, but that's definitely what works for me.
I mean,
I
I'm
even
gonna, oh, go ahead.
no go.
No, you
You
go ahead,
first.
go ahead.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Go
I was
ahead,
going to say
Penny.
what I do is I have in my phone, it's like, okay, on Mondays, I want to thrift, or on Sundays, I thrift. And then Mondays, post and shoot, clean. Usually the day that I thrift, I'm also home cleaning and pressing and getting those things ready for shooting. And then, Mondays are post and shoot, continue that on Tuesdays if I have that. But usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays for me are kind of my days off. Um, because on Saturday, a lot of times I have a friend whose high school kids love to go thrifting as well. So I just try to make sure I'm thrifting at least a couple of times a week. And then after that, cleaning and then posting and shooting. So that's kind of it just keeps going as a circle. And for me, that works. But I have it listed in my phone. It's like, okay, you got to go thrifting today. I've got to go. That's the part that I love about this whole thing, and that as far as motivation, it's like, yes, I can go thrifting. So that's the motivating part for me too. Besides that, and the Pharrell song, I think I mentioned at another thing.
I
That
love
that
that
it's
song.
like, okay, I'm gonna get up because I'm happy. And that always will get me going. It's like, all right, I got this. So but yeah, it does help to have kind of a set schedule, at least. And even if you break it once or twice because you're like, I am so taking the day off, that's fine, but you know that you go back to that schedule and you can stay
Right.
on.
Right.
I love that. I have implemented that because I heard someone else doing that in the past. They said they keep their Mondays and Tuesdays, the beginning of the week, for shooting, taking pictures, doing laundry, doing all of that. Having routine and making habits has been something that has been very difficult for me. As far as motivation, I feel like I can speak on this. I've just went through something very serious as far as, being in the hospital several months ago. And the motivation to come back and do live sales or take pictures or do anything has been really difficult for me. So getting that routine back and creating habits, I've been reading books on how to create habits, and sometimes it just starts with one new habit a month. And even that can be, a lot. But they say after a certain amount of time, I think 30 days, it becomes part of your routine. So that I feel is so important. But when I need that little kick in the butt to get back on the wagon, say I fell off the wagon, and I need that little bit of motivation. I know, listen, TerryLynn is always in touch with me. Are you okay? How you doing? When I see her, that really inspires me. When I see her name come up in a text or whatever, it really makes me happy and know I got this. I can do this. So yeah, finding your tribe,
Love
finding
you.
your people. Love you too.
Love you.
And that also motivates me. But really, I'll go in and I'll look at my bills. I will look at my credit card bills, okay? Because you can access them online. That will give you a little bit of motivation. And
Forgot
what I
about
do is,
that.
right, look on my calendar to see when they need to be paid. So that usually lights a little fire under my behind on, when I need X amount of dollars by X date. So sometimes I'm very last minute. I'll go in and go, okay, I don't care how I have to do it, whether it's a live show or garage sale, or listing things, delisting, whatever it is, I got to make that money by that date.
Right.
Or, like I help out my family a lot. So usually it's by credit card, and that's why my credit card bills get a little bit higher. So that's important to me when I say yes to my sister or to a cousin or to someone that, yeah, you can use my card and go do what it is you need to do. I know, okay, how many items do I have to sell to make that money now? So those are all little motivational things. I'll go downstairs and I'll take a look at my things that I've laid out already. I'll lay things out. And sometimes you don't want to look at it because it's a nice day out, or, you got this to do or that to do. I'll go down and I'll take a look at it and go, I have no right being in the store. I need to go shop in my own closet. Okay. I need to go to my storage unit and I need to take a look. And then I get a little smack back into reality. And then I know, okay, so here's where the planning comes in and the execution. So important, whether it's works for you in your phone using an app, whether it works for you on a calendar where you're old school, you write things down. I like to set my week or my day the day before. I envision myself doing what I need to be doing the next day. I have to get enough sleep, because if I don't get enough sleep, I wake up late. You all know I'm a late riser. For those of you who know, okay? So I've been working on that, and I don't get discouraged if I don't meet that the next day or that week. I just get back on track because every day is a fresh start. And every day is a fresh start. So if you're feeling it one day and you need that cup of coffee and you say, I got it today, okay, great. If you're not, the next day, it's all about up here and not beating up on yourself and doing whatever it takes to find your motivation,
Right.
to find your inspiration. What works for one might not work for another, but I find that these things work for me, if that made sense.
Oh, that makes perfect sense, especially
I,
the part where you said looking at your bills. I mean, I don't, it's not like I have a mountain of bills, but the one thing I do focus on is the roof over my head. And, I'm just like, okay, so, what I need to do for this bill over here, because mostly, my bills are smaller, business bills or whatever, but there's still bills that I need to be paid in order to run my business. So I definitely take a look at all of that as well, so I do understand that concept of it, for sure. I think that most of us probably look at our bills and say, oh yeah, well, we got to get it going, and I think that that is a great motivator. And I'm like you. I mean, I like to plan out things. Sometimes, if I have an abundance, which I've really been getting rid of a lot of inventory. But, normally I have certain days to do certain things. Maybe today it's tops, maybe the next day it's sweaters, maybe the next day it's accessories, to kind of switch up the monotony of things instead of I'm going to list a top every day, for 3 days, just kind of give yourself something to, maybe list different items, different days, whatever, but just give yourself some variety in how you're going about your day. Because, for me at least, I can't just do the same exact thing every single day, so I plug in stuff like this, recording the podcast during the week. Okay, boom, here on this day, I'm going to do this. On Wednesdays, of course, we have Clubhouse. Normally on Wednesdays, I record. After I record, I start listing. So, my day kind of goes like that. Most days is I check, I get up, I do my thing, get my coffee, check my emails, check, send out orders, so I mean, you just have to mix it up during the day, at least for me. I just don't want to do the same thing every day. Maybe if I do, maybe I do it in a different order.
I do want to say something about what Daneen was talking about when it comes to finances. That is actually a good thing to kind of come up with a financial plan, and that might actually help you light a fire, like have an actual financial plan. So you break down what you need to make and stuff. I do like that.
That's
And I
always
like
a good thing.
to talk about fixing things up, Rhonda, too, about
Hmm.
what you're doing daily. That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
To kind of get inspired.
Yeah, it just kind of helps. Well, y'all, I really appreciate you all taking time out today, getting all zhuzhed up to come hang out with me here on Bold Voices. And I want to leave a word or something for those who are going to be listening to the podcast. So just something really simple. It can do with reselling, life, whatever, just a little something. So see, go ahead, because you're seeing, things.
Go easy on yourself, but work your plan.
Mm.
Plan what you're going to work. Oh, I'm done speaking.
Okay, and whoever does this, I mean, you guys just go ahead, go for what you know.
I think my word would be inspired. So be inspired and inspire others. Whatever you have to do to get inspired, to keep that motivation. It is hard to keep it, but just remember that you can get it back. If you need to read some inspiring words, if you need to go out for a walk in nature, whatever it is for you that gets you inspired, do that and then help to motivate and inspire others.
Love it.
I'll let TerryLynn speak last. She is always like fire. So I'm gonna say never give up. Try and be as consistent as possible. I had all these things that I wanted to say, and they're just floating through my mind. They just floated right out the other ear. Oh, don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of change. If what you're doing is not working for you, if you're not making the sales that you thought you would, don't feel defeated. Be creative. Change. You know, people were always using the word pivot, but it's a real word, and it does work if what you're doing is not working. Try something different. And yeah, and I'm done speaking.
Well, I too agree. I'm going to let Terry go last, but what I have to say is more along the lines of taking care of yourself, you know. Definitely don't be defeated by lack of sales or anything like that. You know, if you have to zhuzh it up, then zhuzh it up. But in the meantime, focus also on yourself, allowing yourself grace, speaking kindly to yourself, speaking, loving yourself like you would love your best friend. Speaking to yourself like you would speak to your best friend. Well, I don't know. Some people speak to their best friend kind of rough, but you know what I'm saying. But, you know, take the time out to embrace and be present. Because sometimes I think that we get so distracted or we just go through the motions, but we aren't present to actually receive or give what we need to. So definitely be present and realize that you're unstoppable. No one can stop you but you. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to Terry so she can have the last word.
The end. No, I'm just
No pressure.
Right.
I think the key here is we were talking about the reselling business, and it is an actual business. But when you're getting into any business, think about something that you really enjoyed as a child. It'll probably bring you joy, and you won't need motivation because it'll bring you joy. So think on those lines when it comes to business, and you won't need anybody to light a fire or anything because it's something you enjoy anyway. Keep that in mind. Really, evaluate yourself, and whatever you decide to do in any business, make sure that you're being consistent. You do create habits because you're not going to always feel like it. So it's a thing where you just got to do it when you feel like it, no matter what. Well, whether you feel like it or not, just remember that to get to the next level. That's it. Thanks,
Wow.
Rhonda.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I love you like I love tacos. And I appreciate those who will be listening. Please leave us comments, feedback, questions. We'd love to answer. So with that being said, I hope that you all have the most amazing day today.
Thank you,
Thank
Rhonda.
you.
Thanks for having me.